I'm enjoying hearing the background as well, which is fun. My name's Clark Dressen, I work for Dow. Electrical engineer, started with a chemical company 36 years ago in Freeport, Texas, working on networking activities, getting network connectivity out in the plants. Here we are 36 years later, a lot of other things going on, but still providing network connectivity to the plants, right? So we're going to talk about that today. Fun ride along the way. There we go. And really for us, this really all starts with the concept of why are we doing this digital transformation, right? It's targeted at the way we work. It's trying to get action into our process operators, our maintenance techs, our EH&S, our supply chain guys. And really, if you look at Dow's plants today, I mean, we're an old company, right? We just celebrated a pretty big anniversary. But a lot of our plants are industrial, chemical process area type plants. So outdoors, a lot of rotating heavy equipment, heavy assets, a lot of steel. If you look at our Freeport site, where we're really going to talk about today, it's 5,000 acres, right? It's spread out. It's outdoors. There's no Wi-Fi. There's no public cellular available to really access in these plants. And so our operators, to this day, in a lot of these older plants, are still walking around with sheaves of paper to do procedures, inspections, and rounds. And we've been talking about skill set uplift and the workforce of today, and they're not that impressed when they come in and you hand them the stack of papers and say, okay, now go out in the plant and do your rounds, right? So we're thinking about all those fun things like, what do we want to do with digital transformation? You want to drive analytics, you want to drive AI, you want to drive digital procedures, all those great type of things. But you got to start with the foundation of being able to provide that connectivity. So, of course, Dow's got a couple of other sessions this week. You can come hear about data transformation. You can come talk about some of the applications running. But today we're really going to talk about that network transformation piece. And so for us, we started, and we're going to talk a little bit of how we did that today using a public private LTE, but using some public services that are out there. And it's fascinating. So we started with a proof of concept in our innovation group. And we stood this up, we kind of proved it out, some other things going on, and all of a sudden we get approached saying, hey, our CEO and our vice president of manufacturing and our CIO are all really want to go drive some digital transformation efforts. What you got, right? So we said, well, we've got some things that we've been testing. We turned around and we implemented what we're going to talk about today in less than a year. And so it's foundational. It provided some connectivity in places we've never had it before. But to me, it's just a starting point, right? You think about what can we start to layer on top of that network connectivity. So now I can start to think about edge compute. I can talk about storage. I can talk about replacing all this technical debt of these plants that have been running for 30 and 40 years, using old servers, old PCs, plugged in. So that concept of having things in the cloud and using a lot of those cloud tools, that's great. That's really helped us kickstart some of our dashboards and our analytics and our visibility of information. But we know we're going to have to get to containers and more secure ways to run our applications inside the plant. So this is the foundation. Again, it's a first step. But for us, it was a huge step to just get that connectivity out there, available, and ready to go. That second line really talks about who are our stakeholders. And to me, this was key, right? We talked about the operator at the beginning, but we're out there working with maintenance and operations and EH&S and safety and supply chain, logistics, really trying to understand how those users interact with their information, how you could work differently by delivering that information to their fingertips and to their two devices out in the field, and really driving the outcomes that matter at the bottom, right? So again, is it reliability? Is it safety? Is it quality? Is it productivity? All those type of things. Really trying to drive that. I've heard throughout the day we've been talking about skill sets, right? And then ultimately just driving value, right? Again, value to the company. So, all right, so what did we do? We put in a tool called CBRS. It's again, private cellular, private LTE type service. Why did we do it? So again, 5,000 acres of really open space with no public services available. We tried a couple of things. We tried putting in Wi-Fi in some different areas, industrial Wi-Fi. And again, you got to remember these are class 1 Div 2 plants in a lot of cases, right? So you can't just slap things out there, right? They've got to be safe and protected. But putting Wi-Fi out there was going to be too slow, too expensive, and really just really hard to maintain. You're talking hundreds and hundreds of wireless access points to try to do Wi-Fi. Couldn't do it. We tried. So we took a look at some disruptive technologies to do that. We partnered. Kyndryl, Jason Jackson will be on the panel here in a minute. One of our service providers worked with us to look at some of these different options, right? And there's many different flavors of private cellular, right? We chose this one. CBRS in particular allowed us to scale something, like I said, in less than a year, across this entire site at a price point that was magnitudes less than what we would have tried to do using other technologies. So really foundationally able to get services out at the fingertips much quicker than we ever expected. It allowed us to continue using a security strategy to continue to isolate that key information and integrate that in. I'll talk about that more in just a minute. And also have those hazardous rated devices that the users could take. We've got tablet format, we've got phone format, and we're finding the use case kind of dictates the type of tool, whether I'm climbing a ladder, those type of things. But really that value of just getting that information out there and to that frontline worker. Okay, so CBRS, a little bit more about this in particular. CBRS is interesting because in 2015 the FCC actually took some existing bandwidth and made it available for use in industry. So the citizen band, citizen band radio spectrum, broadband radio spectrum service there. And so it was fascinating. So the government said, hey, we're going to make this available. Companies like Nokia, as one of the providers of the tools we're using, created cores. And really it's interesting. These cores are the same type of tools that AT&T, Verizon, and whoever else are using to go deploy public networks that you use for your consumer solutions. So it's that type of robust equipment that gives you the reliability you need. But really enabled us to get this out there. And CBRS is available in the U.S. today, but there are other shared spectrum type things globally. So again, by using the same equipment, we can take this exact service and we can copy and paste it and go deploy it in our other plants globally. So using different frequencies but the same concept. And really there's some pluses and minuses here. I won't go into the detail, they're on the slide. But for us it was all about the use cases, right? So how do I get the connectivity out to the users to drive collaboration? How can they do a video chat to drive problem solving? How can they drive the procedures or the access to the information that they need to do their daily job, make decisions faster, make decisions better, right? Not just guess. So that was a big part of it. All right, I talked about architecture a little bit ago. Again, not going to drain the architecture slide. What I wanted to hit though was the point that to do this was not only just, hey, let's go learn how to set up radio antennas in the plant, right? It was, how do we integrate this into our enterprise network? How do we get the firewall and the security and the devices secure so you can still do authentication, keep your role-based security, keep users accessing what they should do? And the partnership it took, right, between our IS team, our IT OT teams, our security teams, the services teams, because not only do you have to stand this up, you got to run it, right? Now we have hundreds of mobile devices out there that you got to maintain and keep access to, right? We've got the services we got to keep running and connected in. So just a really important part of this was not just a technology play, it's a services play to keep it together. All right, I am also going to show a quick video because even better than me talking about the value of this, I've got some users that we interviewed. This is a little bit of marketing built in. It's a video that Kyndryl put together, but I love it because it's got those value cases. So let me show that real quick.
I'm Ryan Henderson, operations leader at Dow. The biggest thing I like about Dow is the family atmosphere. It's a very safe place to work.
This is the largest integrated chemical manufacturing facility in the Western Hemisphere. We sit on about 5,000 acres, have about 5,000 employees, and a multitude of world-scale manufacturing sites.
My role is ensuring that my team has everything they need to do their job safer and more effective. The risks that we have to keep in mind when we're operating the plant is, we are dealing with chemicals and manufacturing, machinery, also fatigue. Before digitalization, that would have looked like, a technician grabbing a piece of paper. They have to keep that piece of paper with them, and it can be hard to keep track as they're climbing up and down the structures.
Here at Dow, we focus on innovation for manufacturing, for supply chain, for commercial, all about the introduction of new technology and shaping the way we work.
Digital manufacturing is a set of programs that starts with building a foundation at our manufacturing sites, including private LTE that enables us to put information in people's hands on tablets or smartphones so they have data to make decisions.
Having all of that connectivity in our hands where traditionally it would be, not something we would have out in the field. We pushed for that. That allowed us to monitor things a lot more efficient and operating the plant in a safe manner.
One of the benefits of working with Kyndryl to provide this private cellular solution was really the ability to provide very large area of coverage at a cost-effective price.
Kyndryl helped make the technology a reality in our plants. Having that networking capability has been critical to our partners like Microsoft, who have layered applications onto that networking solution.
We will have more eyes in the field, more real-time information coming into the control room, and better communication. We anticipate it will absolutely transform our reliability.
We've had a great relationship with Kyndryl. We have hundreds of sites across 30 different countries around the globe. It was knowing that we would expand the solutions across all of our major sites. Kyndryl brought the technology to the table, but they also bring the capability to help us implement that technology across multiple sites in a shorter period of time.
Two of the most powerful currencies in human business are time and knowledge. Digital manufacturing enables us to give people back some time, and it equips them with information to make better decisions.
I do take a lot of pride in ensuring my employees go home safely.
There we go. So I just want to wrap up with two comments. And you guys might remember, if you've been here for a couple of years, Melanie, who's our CIO, actually came and did the keynote for ARC a few years ago with our manufacturing vice president. That just want to highlight, for me, that's been one of the biggest successes we've had, is just continuing to get the IT organization talking with the manufacturing organization, getting them to go to the CEO and the board to get funding, to get support, and to get the priorities set to go drive that digital transformation for manufacturing. So again, we'll take some other questions here at the end, but thank you guys for the time.